Perfect words for perfect impact. So obviously you are aware that the words that you choose have a big impact on how they are perceived and how they are interpreted by another person. I mean, studies have been done on this for a very, very long time. 3-4 groups of people all watch the same video of a car crash, but each group is asked the question, how fast were the cars blank when the accident happened, right? And that blank just shifts from one group to the other. One group, they hear the words when they bumped each other in the accident. The other group hears the word crashed. The other group hears the word hit. The other group hears the word collided. Now they all watch the same video. It's the exact same video. But because of the word choice, they actually said higher speeds when the word was more emphatic. They actually found that when the word hit was used, most people in that group said that the speeds were much higher than, as you would assume, when the word bump was used. Crazy, right? Of course, we probably have that intuitive awareness that words have a big role to play in how our messages are perceived. Now, how does that play in a personal injury case? Well, it starts from the very beginning, right? Because insurance companies refer to your case as a claim. You claim you've been injured. I'm going to give you a claim number. And just think about that. Now, does a prosecutor ever refer to their cases with those who are criminally accused as claims? No, they are cases, i.e., we have a case on you, right? So it just begins there, and it's very important to be aware of that. Of course, we talked a little bit about the word accident, right? Don't use the word accident. Do not parrot what the insurance company uses to characterize the collision, the crash, the wreck. Collision is pretty neutral, so you can go for that. Crash sounds a little bit harsh, so don't refer to it as a crash if, there's not a lot of visible damage. But don't refer to it as an accident, because accidents just don't happen out of the blue. Somebody's looking at their phone. Somebody's not paying attention. Somebody's doing a TikTok video, true story, when the crash occurred. So that's how you should refer to it. But there's another big one, low impact collision. Low impact collision is usually used to characterize that if there's low impact, there must be low injury, right? So don't refer to it as a low impact collision. You can refer to it as not a lot of visible damage case. Not a lot of visible damage makes you think that the damage was invisible. And that's really true. The damage is invisible. The damage is inside of you. Just like when you go to a repair shop and they take off the bumper and they realize, oh, we got to replace these shock absorbers. Oh, we got to replace this. We got to replace that. That damage is not visible to you. There had to be some expert analysis to find that there's more damage. Similarly, there has to be an expert tool to figure out if you have more damage to your body. We talked about this. What is that expert tool? An MRI. Something that cannot be seen from the outside, but an MRI can see what is going on with your body on the inside. So low impact collision, use the terms not a lot of visible damage case. Also, the word chiropractic treatment. A lot of people don't believe in chiropractors. They think they're quacks, And so you go to get chiropractic treatment, it sounds like an indulgence. Treatment. It's even more difficult to explain that it's actually necessary because some people go to a chiropractor for preventative maintenance. And so they get this treatment even without having been injured. So I like to refer to it as non-invasive rehabilitation. Non-invasive rehabilitation. And I'm using those words to distinguish it from more invasive rehabilitation or invasive rehabilitation. So that is going to be a better word. Also, there is a medical term of art, ligament laxity. Wow. Sounds like a ligament is sunbathing in the sun. It's having a lax time, just relaxing here. Envisioning it in my mind right now. That's a bunch of bullshit. Ligament laxity is actually a compromise to the structural integrity of your spine. That's what it is. That's what ligament laxity is. Muscles allow your limbs to move. Ligaments are supposed to keep the vertebrae together. They're supposed to limit movement. So you should not refer to it as ligament laxity and parrot the medical records. And if a medical provider is actually knowledgeable in personal injury cases, they should not be using that word, even though it's a medical term of art. But instead should say something to the effect of that it's compromised the structural integrity of this part of the body. Painkillers is another one of those terms that, oh, you were prescribed painkillers? I mean, it has that connotation like it's really bad, not for an illegitimate purpose, but because, you know, there are some of these pain mills. You can get hooked on painkillers. I mean, look at our drug problem. But don't use that word, painkillers. It's really not even a killer of pain. It's really a pain reducer. That's really what it is. So I would be careful using painkillers and instead use pain reducers. And please, do not use the word discomfort. You're not entitled to be comfortable in life. Every one of us goes through discomfort, and nobody owes you a dime for being uncomfortable. But if pain was thrust upon you unnaturally, then yes, you are entitled to some reimbursement for that pain, but do not refer to it as discomfort. There's a book by a famous doctor, Jeffrey Pike. He says that whenever a ligament is damaged, it's when it stretches beyond its elastic limit, such that when the stretching force is discontinued, it no longer goes back to its original shape and size. When a ligament in an adult person is damaged, it will never heal. It will wound repair. What does that mean? Well, it means that the ligament will never be as strong as it once was. Scar tissue will form in its place. Where the damage occurred, where that tearing happened, that's where scar tissue will form. And scar tissue is not as strong as the ligament. And it's actually more painful. If you do sustain trauma there, the next time, it's going to be more painful. So the integrity of the spinal column, the structure, is forever going to be weakened, more weakened than it was. So whenever you see that in that medical record, ligament laxity, that's not something to be discarded or ignored. That's something to be taken very seriously. Another very important term is degenerative disc disease. Okay? Every adult has some type of degeneration in their body, and that's what they call it. Degenerative disc disease. Every adult. No one is immune from it. No one. Everybody's gonna get it. But they like to use that term. Degenerative disc disease, yeah, you had it before the wreck, you know, because it happens gradually. It doesn't happen because of a traumatic event. But the reality is every adult has some sort of degeneration in their spine, some more than others, depending on how much they use their bodies. The insurance company just like to refer as a pre-existing condition. The accident did not cause this pre-existing condition, and they're right. But it doesn't help them. It hurts them. If you do have a pre-existing condition, that just means that you're more vulnerable to trauma. You're more susceptible to pain. Like, just think about it this way. Just think about a brick wall that's just been built, right? And then think of a brick wall that's 100 years old, that has cracks in it, the mortar's cracking everywhere. If a car at 10 miles an hour hits the new brick wall, it may not affect it, right? But if a car hits that 100-year-old brick wall that has cracks and mortar is cracking in it, that brick wall can come crumbling down. A pre-existing condition does not help the insurance company. It hurts the insurance company. But that idea of pre-existing condition has been ingrained in our subconscious like it's something bad. It's your history. That's what it is. And if you have a pre-existing condition, all it means is that you're just more susceptible to trauma. And legally, we have something called the eggshell plaintiff rule. That means even if the trauma was so light, but you're an eggshell plaintiff, you're as fragile as an eggshell, and that trauma just so happened to crack that shell, they're responsible for it because you were fine. You were just driving down the road trying to get to a restaurant or a grocery store or wherever you needed to go. Of no fault of your own, somebody thrust this pain upon you unnaturally. So they're responsible. It cuts against them, not for them.